1, 2, 3,
Hey Faith Watchers, welcome back to Faith, Family, and Fun Reviews. If you're new here on this channel, I share with you delightful, family-friendly, and faith-based movies and television shows. So as y'all can tell by the title of this video, yes, we are back in Bloomington, and we have not been back in a minute. And yes, I know that's all on me, but but yeah, y'all, I know. I gotta do better about that. It's just be so many different things be coming out, and sometimes the Baxters get pushed back a little bit. And don't come for me, okay? Ashley and all of y'all Baxters, I'm here, okay? I am gonna talk about y'all with the peoples, all right? Because they need to know what y'all doing. We need to know what's going on with y'all, okay? And we are in season 2, and we are on episode 4. So, woo! Yes, we are getting through this, and I am having an amazing time. I'm having a blast, yes. But before we get into this, let me just say a little bit of an update. I know, like, for example, I was introducing a new segment on the channel, Family Kickback Fridays, and it was a little bit up in the air. I know I told y'all, it's a possibility. And then we were leaning more towards, okay, this thing is going to happen consistently every Friday. But it still was in the back of my mind. I wasn't sure if that's exactly what I wanted to do because it was a lot depending on y'all. So what we're going to do is put that back in the back seat, back corner, back somewhere for a minute until the channel it starts to get a little bit of momentum and I start to see a little bit of faithful watchers here, okay? Since everything is scattered about and I don't really see much people like really tuning in, and it takes a lot. And I was going to do these lives and I was like, let me tell y'all, okay, when it was, all right, yeah, it was last Friday. No, 2 weeks ago. Okay, it was 2 weeks ago. When I did that, I was waiting around because I told y'all a certain time that we're going to go live. And so I'm waiting. I kept thinking to myself, I could have been on recorded, like, I don't know how many videos while I'm waiting to do this live. But I still kept my word because for those of you who were waiting for it, tuning in, all that good stuff. And then when we got through it and got to it, I was just like, this is just not worth it. Especially when I have so many different things that I am reviewing that are just on my list to review. It doesn't make sense for me to do a weekly live when I feel like I can almost be recording a video when nobody is there, nobody is showing up and different things like that. So I was just like, you know what? We're just going to be spitting out records, okay? At least y'all can kind of feel like it's alive because I do walk y'all through my thoughts. I do just be like, they be pretty decent as far as length is concerned. And yeah, we explore a lot of different things. We talk a lot of different things about characters, sceneries, all that kind of good stuff. What goes into making it just a beautiful production, beautiful composition. So yeah, we're going to keep it at that until sometime in the future when I hope, if it's God's will, that the channel does have a bit more faithful people here. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the Baxter season 2 episode 4. And y'all know just a little bit of, should I catch y'all up, or do y'all remember what happened last episode? I don't know. Okay, we're just gonna jump into it because this episode was a little bit it was very emotional, I can say. It really was for me, y'all. Y'all know how I've been having issues. Y'all know me and Ashley Baxter have been going back and forth because she don't be knowing how to act, and she be selfish and acting stuck up and all stink and all that kind of stuff all the time. So I do have to be putting her in her place, and y'all do be sitting through it and bearing with me with that. But lately, I've been kind of like Team Ashley because it's like she been listening to me. She been straightening up and acting right. So I was just like, okay, I ain't gonna talk about you, I ain't gonna come for you if it ain't nothing to come for, okay? I'm just not like just hating on a person, right? Or hating on a character. But yes, so far lately I have been feeling Ashley. She has been up on a list as far as like growing into my community of characters that I do particularly enjoy, just for the fact of her standing up for what is right. And she kind of toning it down a little bit. Like she's like, she ain't about herself as much. I mean, it's still a little bit like that in there, but we're gonna start with the character Kari Baxter here. And y'all know season 1, that was more Kari in the forefront because she was going through all those different things with her husband, her then husband Tim, and they marriage was just on a roller coaster ride. It took us all around the world and back some. Y'all know how I was, okay, just going off feeling some kind of way during that season 1. But then, you know, things start to kind of calm down, slow down a little bit. especially with Kari. And now we're in a season, we walked through with Kari having a beautiful marriage. We walked through with Kari going through what it's like when your marriage is having a little bit of turbulence, and how do you handle that? How do you deal with that? Do you just give up, or do you stick it out, or do you depend more on God and just trust that it's all gonna work out? We went through that season with her, and then we went through the season of that loss, a tragedy that happened. You know, her husband just no longer with us. Tim is no longer with us, and we went through that. And then we went through that grieving process with Kari, which was definitely emotional. It was heavy, and we walked through that with her as well. And now we're at this point where Kari is ready to move on, y'all. And I don't know, it's just strange. Let me just be honest, because a piece of me, I feel like I don't want her to move on from this season. And I know that's a little bit selfish. It definitely is wrong, because it's almost like keeping her stuck. But at the same time, I just feel so bad. I guess just the way that they paint the scenery out. I mean, having her, the episode starts off with her like debating back and forth in her mind, should she delete Tim's email account. Like, she would be, you see the arrow, you see the screen there, all his old emails, and it says, are you ready to delete? And she just cannot force herself, she cannot make herself do this. And I feel her right there, and it just makes you feel that sadness all over again, like that roller coaster that we went through in season 1. It's like we get in that all through that very moment right there, because you feel that is a very human emotion, going through that, just trying to make sense of life and go forward with life without that person who was supposed to be there the entire way with you, that whole journey. And of course, we have no control over that. For the most part, we don't get to choose who's gonna stay and who is gonna go, especially when you're doing your very best, you're giving your very best. At that point, it is out of your hands, and that's what we're walking through here with Kari. And I just feel like, y'all, like, seriously, just talking to y'all right now, and I'm just reminded of that moment right there. Should you delete his account? Because it's almost really make it like, okay, he's really gone. Even though she knows that he has his grave site, the headstone, all of that is very permanent in her mind. But that is almost like, almost like that's the other side of the world. Like, it's almost like another realm. She's not living at the graveyard. She's not seeing that every day. It is only when she go visit every once in a while. But the email account, that is like daily. Everybody use email for everything. Most people, email is kind of like their life. That's where they have everything going on, from their businesses to their personal affairs to everything. And that's what she's facing with right now. She's facing that reality. Okay, this is life. Almost like I can feel her thoughts. If I delete this, he's really gone. This is it. This is like the last bit of him left here. As far as like just the interactions with this life, we deal with different things, y'all know. Okay, we go shopping, we visit places, there's school, there's work, there's emails, there's social media. That is a part of just life. That's part of living. So I want to make that clear, because I know that they still have a daughter, but that's like totally different, because that daughter is a being. She has her own life, you know, as she starts to grow and different things, get out of that little babyhood. But y'all know, and so I just felt that way, like, oh man, I just felt her. And then we get this call from her mom, Elizabeth, who is got her own little different things going on. Y'all know that she's been having this project at the church, working on this nursery and just trying to make things, you know, she has her own little thing going on, and she's dealing with almost like the same thing Kari is dealing with, but it's just differently. It's like this is a new season, a new stage in her life as far as dealing with the church is concerned. So she's learning too about letting go, moving on from different things, and just accepting the newness that God has for her. And so I love that we have those parallels going on between mother and daughter here. And it's so connected, and I love this about Elizabeth, that even though all her kids are adults, they grown, living their own lives and different things, Elizabeth is so like connected as a mom. Like, her children don't even have to say different things for her to know that something is up, whether it's something that is not so pleasant or it's something that they're excited about. and they just, really happy about. And here in this moment when she's on the phone with Kari, and Kari goes silent for just a second or two, she feels what her daughter is feeling, and she inquires a little bit more, and Kari does open up a little bit more about the fact that she feels in her heart she's ready to move on, but she feels guilty too. Almost like, I don't know, we don't know, I don't know personally, or I don't even think anybody knows, like, how long do you supposed to be in grieving and mourning and loss? Like, how long is it right to dwell on those things? Do anybody really know? I know it's different for different people, and I guess for Kari, because it hasn't been many years, and the fact that she does feel ready, she not only ready to the point where she's just like, I'm forcing myself to be ready, but ready as in she's excited about what God has for her in this next chapter of her life. And I guess that's playing a big role in her mind of making her feel that guilt, that heaviness, like almost as if she's wrong, and that survivor's guilt as well, because he's no longer here, but yet you are here. And then she knows the different things that her and Tim had gone through before he transitioned, before he made this life transition out of here. She knows that, yeah, right before it did happen, they were on good terms, they were in a good place, they were rebuilding their marriage, but it wasn't that long ago that he had done all of these terrible things, these things that just would destroy your partner, destroy your marriage. And even though she forgave him, and that was wonderful, but most people, let's just be real here, when there is a betrayal in a relationship, most people are stuck just dealing with picking up the pieces, trying to forgive, trying to move on, whether they chose to just leave that relationship or they chose to stay in a relationship and move on together and just put these things behind them, forgetting those things that are behind and pressing forward to those things that are ahead. Most people are usually dealing with that. Most people don't get that I don't want to say, I was going to say that, but I know that's not the word I'm looking for. I wasn't going to say like that vindication of like what happened to Tim. Like, yes, he did many horrible things to destroy his marriage, and then it's like, look at his ending. It wasn't even like many years later that this ending happened to him, that he was taken up out of here. And it almost seemed like there was a vindication for all the pain and the destruction and different things that you caused in your marriage. And now look what happened to you. Look what you reaped. Most people who dealing with a betrayal in a relationship, they don't get that kind of vindication where they can see, like, look, now see, that's what you get for this is what you, for what happened, look what you did. Most people don't get that satisfaction, that vindication, or just feel like, wow, that it's almost like fear. Like, see what you did, you caused this person that much pain, now look what happened to you. And not to say that anybody should look at it like that, because I know Kari did it, and I'm very grateful that she did it, because she did show us how to walk out when there is a turbulence or different things that goes on in your life that you did not expect, that another person brought into your world. She showed us the right way, the way God would want us to handle that situation. So when this thing did happen to Tim, there wasn't like this bittersweet moment with her. She really went through the pain of what a spouse would really feel, who is in love with their husband and who's in love with their spouse, and wow, they transition. So she went through that kind of pain. Like, it wasn't like, wow, this is justice for what he done to her, or different things like that. And so I can imagine how, that's why I said a little bit of that survivor's guilt there, because she could be in her mind like, I'm thinking, okay, because she is human, we all human at the end of the day, that although she loved him, she missed him, and she was in love with her husband and different things like that, I know at some point it did cross her mind that, wow, look what happened, look what God allowed to happen as a result of the different things that he's sown that wasn't right, that he's done in his marriage. So I feel like that's partially why the guilt is there. And then here she is now, she's in a better place. She's feeling good about herself again, about her life. She has accepted that this was Tim's fate. This was their ending, and now it's time to move on. She has every right to do so because the man she was married to is no longer on this planet. And so I feel like all of these things that she may not say, that she did not say in the episode, are underlining being said because we see the result of it. We see what she's really feeling, like her actions and how she's walking through this season right now, that this is the last piece of life that Tim had left, and she's wondering, okay, should I get rid of the email account or not? And so she does take this moment, and her mom does an amazing job. Elizabeth has always done an amazing job throughout the entire season 1, and she's still holding on throughout season 2 thus far, with letting Kari know the truth of the matter and just being that support that she needs, not harping on the things that she does not need to hear. Like, just really letting her know that it's all right, it's okay, God is with her, it's gonna be okay, and God wants her to live. You are alive, you are supposed to live. You cannot stop living if you still have breath in your body. And so I feel like that's what Kari is dealing with here, between hearing from God and hearing from the vessel that he chooses to use in this episode, which is her mom, Elizabeth. So she does go back to the grave site, and she goes with a certain agenda here. She has an objective, and that is to say goodbye. And she felt like, and even though you would think that she would have done that already, she has visited his gravesite before, she realized in this moment that she has not done it. And it was just so heartbreaking. It is like reliving his last moments, because she is right now saying the words that she knows is going to seal the deal here, and that is going to separate them forever now, even though he has already parted ways in his life. But she does tell him goodbye. She does let him know that she's going to be the best mother that she can be to their daughter, and she's going to live because she knows that's what God wants for her. That's what she wants for her. And ultimately she knows that that is what Tim would want for her. And so, yes, we do part that scene with just a bit of heaviness, but at the same time, I felt a little bit of lightness as well, like the character Kari. Like, okay, we're finally closing this chapter. We're closing the book. This is the end of their story, and there can never be another. And it just reminds you about life in general, y'all. While we here, while we have life in our bodies, that we should live it to the fullest, to the very best of what God will want, to his approval, to the praise and glory of his name, and ultimately to please him, so that when we are at the end, however that end comes about, we can feel that confidence and know that we really ran our race, we really finished our course. And so all of that I took away in that scene. So moving on from there, we are out of the heaviness, y'all, and we are going to brighter days now. And here we're dealing with Ashley. All right, y'all, let me tell you, I feel her pain a little bit. What are the chances of you getting back into the workforce and you having to deal with the nastiness of a co-worker here? And I just feel Ashley pain, because it's like, you did not sign up for this. Working alone is enough, okay? That's enough in itself, but we don't need people adding to the commotion, all right? And I just feel like her co-worker, who is also, I think she's probably her boss as well, she is in like a leadership role in the nursing home, it's just adding to the drama that it's already enough. Ashley is working with the elderly who have lost bits of their memory. They are slowly but surely like no longer going to be here at some point. Like, you can tell they're at the end of their road, and she is just trying to make things as comfortable as possible for these guests here. I'm going to call them guests. Like, she's trying to do that, and it is a lot of work to be there in those moments when they're in the present, and to be there when they're no longer in the present, when they're in the past, somewhere stuck there. We don't really know. They're dealing with memory loss and different things like that. So that is hard work in itself. It is a lot on the character Ashley, and we can understand why, because she is young. She already is a drama queen in herself, and she has to will in these emotions that she has and let certain things go and put herself on the back burner and be this person that these guests need her to be. And on top of that, she's dealing with her co-worker who is mean-spirited. Like, seriously, y'all, she is mean-spirited. Like, never smiles, always frowning, always seem like she got an attitude or whatever the case may be. And it seems like she just got something just against Ashley for some reason. I don't know. Maybe because she's elderly, she probably know she ain't got that long to go. She could be up in there at some point. Maybe she's thinking about that. And it's just looking at Ashley, who is still in her prime, in her youth, got so much life to live. I don't know. Sometimes people may be a little bit jealous, all right? That they ain't do all that they should have did when it back in the day, when they had all this life, all this strength, all this youth. And now you see somebody else who making different decisions than you is, and could end up in a better place when they, by the time they're your age. Maybe that may be the case for little Miss Stang here. I don't know, but I'm feeling like Ashley, I'm not liking this, okay? I'm not liking her rudeness, her impatience with these guests. And she just totally flipped out in this episode, y'all, like being really mean, like yelling at them, like trying to tell them the truth, and like just trying to throw it, this is reality kind of stuff. And she just like her attitude is just gross, like for real. And I understand Ashley, who was thinking, all right, this is the last straw. You're not gonna be disrespecting these people, because these people are still human beings. Just because they're elderly and they're losing their memory does not mean that they don't have feelings, all right? So Ashley called herself going to talk to her in her office, and let me tell you, homegirl, Ashley was really good, okay? Her attitude, everything, she's very, very respectful, very, very honorable to those who are over her, who are in authority. And she just basically said, like, basically ask her what is her issue. Like, is this like protocol? Is this how we supposed to do it? Are we doing it by the books with you restraining these guests and yelling at them and different things? And she basically laid it down for Ashley that she is about their safety. Like, what would happen if these guests fall, and with you feeding them like this illusion that is not even real, that you're basically putting them in harm's way to be physically harmed in some kind of way. That's basically what she laid out for Ashley. And she basically tell her, don't come in my office uninvited again, okay? Don't do that. And next time, you basically gonna arrange to meet with me, all right? Send me an email, let me know, request a meeting before you step foot in this office. And in that moment, I can understand somebody just like, okay, like just getting back with her, clapping back or something like that. I can understand somebody doing that. I can understand Ashley doing that, but Ashley just remained cool and calm. Like, she was really peaceful. She was just like, okay. And she left the office and closed the door quietly. I was like, Ashley, okay, I didn't even know you had it in you. You always seem like you were just Miss Spicy, just a firecracker. But this is showing your growth. And what I feel, and I said this in previous reviews, I feel like this is what she needs to grow as a woman of faith, as a sister, as a friend, as a co-worker. I know that God is using this job to work all of these wonderful, forgive y'all, check us out. Okay, I know that God is using this job to grow her up, to mature her, because we can't always respond the way that people respond to us. We have to always remain gracious, kind, and with wisdom, and all of these wonderful things that God called us to do, which can be very, very challenging when you get mean-spirited people, nasty people who are just unhappy about life and want to take their anger out on the world. It is hard to just walk in righteousness in that moment, but Ashley's shown us it is possible, and this is how we do it, okay? We of class, we of faith, all right? We are gonna treat people and love people like that was Jesus right there, and she shows us this in this episode, which I did appreciate that. So moving on from Ashley, girl, I hope the best for you, honey, okay? Ashley, keep doing your thing, but you in our prayers, all right? Anyways, moving on, we have Reagan and Luke, and y'all know they're getting a little bit close, a little bit serious here. And Reagan is going to introduce Luke to her family, her dad, which we know how they go. If it's time to meet the parents, okay, this is time for something special, which I got. It's wedding in the future or something like that. We don't know. But I do love here in this episode that we get to see Luke and Reagan kind of move on to a different level. And her dad seems very, very kind, a man of wisdom, of faith. He does appear to be that way. And he does approach Luke like a man. They have this conversation where he does offer Luke like what is it, like a, not necessarily a position, but basically like an invite to come up there, because you know Luke is in a whole law field and trying to do his thing in there. So we love that. We just love that their conversation went really well, and it didn't seem like there was any animosity or anything like happening there, which I can definitely appreciate. But yes, that is pretty much what happened in the 25 minutes, 24 or 25. Oh, forgive me y'all, 25 minutes in. But that is pretty much what happened in this episode. And it was all about letting go and accepting the changes that God has laid out for us. Whether those changes are good or not so good, if a person want to feel that way. But we do know that we work all things out together for good for those who love him and are called according to his purpose. And we got to see a lot of that take place in this episode. And like I said, this episode was more about letting go and moving forward and be willing to just move forward and trust God. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get into our scripture, which will be coming out of Psalms chapter 57 verse 1. And it reads, "Be merciful to me, O God, be merciful to me. For my soul trusts in you, and in the shadow of your wings I will make my refuge until these calamities have passed by." That's all I have for y'all for this video. Once again, this is Karen Kingsbury, the Baxters season 2 episode 4. You can find it streaming right now on Amazon Prime. And until next time, may the Lord bless and keep you both now and forevermore.